never said I oppose fracking. Show the tape. Put it on your website. Put it on the website.
Live from Clark Studios in Rochester, New York. Broadcasting around the world. You're listening to You Made It Political, where the voice of the keyboard warrior is finally heard and the arguments presented are put to the political test. And now, here's your host, Matt Clark.
It hasn't even been 1 week, and already former President Trump comes back guns blazing on the scene with endorsements, office of the former president announcements, and everything else that we would completely expect out of Donald Trump. I mean, let's be honest, like he was going to go back to his Mar-a-Lago estate and just sit there and chill. He's got a lot of work to do, baby, and we got the 2022 primaries to get ready for. So you better believe he's going to be out there gun swinging, getting ready to get the GOP back in control of the mess that the Democrats have already been put us in just 1 week alone. Let's head over to the keyboard warrior Cam and see exactly what Donald Trump has been up to over the last few days and what his real plan is over the next couple of years. So for many of us who've been following Trump since he left office last week, there was a lot of hope and talk about him maybe starting the Patriot Party. And if you guys watched my live a few days ago, you'd have heard me discuss the fact that I didn't really think the Patriot Party was the best idea. I really didn't think that starting a party from scratch, unless Trump was going to be involved, was the smartest idea right now. The GOP is fractured, but it's not completely broken. There still is a lot of hope. Despite what we all think, there's still a lot of hope for a party that continues to dominate the political space. We've been beaten up. We've been kicked to the curb over the last few years. I don't think that's anyone's fault except for a few senior leaders who didn't exactly fight our corner. But by no means is the GOP dead. So President Trump, after rumors surfaced that he was going to start a Patriot Party, came online. Well, his team announced it was rumors. He's not starting a Patriot Party. He's not leading it. He's not affiliated with it in any way. So they squashed that. Okay, fair enough. So what's his real agenda? Well, yesterday he announced that he opened and established an official post-presidency office in Palm Beach County, Florida, to oversee his affairs. So Trump creates office of the former president in Florida. So what exactly does that mean? Does that really hold any weight? Well, as far as Washington, D.C. is concerned, and politically, it holds no weight in the White House itself, where it holds a tremendous amount of weight, and some would even suggest it holds even more weight from the sidelines, is the fact that he has decided he is going to continue advocating for the Republican Party. Let me take a look and show you the exact statement that came out. So as you can see here, the office of Donald Trump established over the last few days, a statement from the office of the former president. From Palm Beach County, Florida, today, the 45th president of the United States, Donald J. Trump, formally opened the office of the former president. Now, what does that mean exactly? Well, the office will be responsible for managing President Trump's correspondence, public statements, appearances, and official activities to advance the interests of the United States and to carry on the agenda of the Trump administration through advocacy, organizing, and public activism. That does not sound like someone who's going to sit the sidelines and hope for the best. That, to me, sounds like Trump just declared an outright attack politically on the left, and he's going to do everything he can to make sure that the GOP gets back into power. President Trump will always and forever be a champion for the American people. So he's launched this to let his supporters know, to let the 74 million people know he's not going anywhere. He's not done. He's not even close to done. And listen, it didn't even last 1 week. It was only a week ago, not even a week ago, that President Biden was sworn into office. So he's already come out telling everybody, listen, I know we're down. I know Biden's come in and he's completely undone all of our hard work in just a few days in his first week as president. I'm going to fight back. It's going to be this from the sidelines for now. We're going to endorse and support and help the GOP gain control come the 2022 primaries. And for those of us who kind of really know and understand the moves that he's likely to make, this isn't really any surprise. The only surprise really is how quickly he announced it. So it's music to our ears. Now, why is everybody so excited about this? Except for the left, obviously, who are probably freaking out and fuming over the fact that it hasn't even been 7 days and already Trump's back in the media. They're freaking out about this because they thought now that Trump's gone, there was going to be no real voice for the Republican Party, which is very sad in its own right. It's sad because there really isn't a voice. And this is why so many Republicans cling on to Donald Trump. It's not because they're overly obsessed with the guy. It's because they're obsessed with America first. And that is what Trump represents, an American first mentality. He defends the Constitution. He puts the American people first. He puts jobs first. He puts the stock market first. He does everything to put Americans first. So that's what the people are clinging on to. They need a voice because God knows Mitch McConnell's not getting the job done. There's only really been a handful of politicians, Republican politicians, who have been raising hell. Ted Cruz, Lauren Boebert, Congresswoman from Colorado, Elise Stefanik, Congresswoman from New York, Marjorie Taylor Greene, and Jim Jordan. They're the really kind of only Republicans that I've seen that have come out guns blazing, swinging against the left. You have to remember, for the last few years, the left have literally violently attacked the right, have cheated, fought, begged, stole everything from the right. And we kind of just let them walk all over us. And now that Trump's been removed from office, people lost a lot of faith. Who's going to really be the one fighting on our behalf? Where's the aggression? Where's the ambition that we see on the left from the right? It's basically non-existent. We have a few younger congresswomen who have recently risen to power that have voiced their opinions, but there aren't enough of them. There isn't a dominant voice, a dominant figure or influencer that can get the job done like Trump can. I mean, let's be honest. Look at what he's done to build his base, 74 million strong. So you better believe that him being back in the political limelight is going to move mountains. And if you think, well, how's that possible? He lost the election. Let's be honest. The only reason that so many Republicans, who we now refer to as rhinos, voted against Trump is because they were sick of the noise. That's really the only reason. Nobody really voted for Biden. They didn't really know what he was going to do. Biden's only plan of attack was to curb coronavirus, which he's already screwed up by saying, sorry guys, can't really control what's going on right now, even though he was adamant a few months ago that he was going to be able to end coronavirus in his first 100 days. Now he's already admitting defeat and failure. So Trump's out there now, ready to take control, ready to prove to all the rhinos that we had it right the first time. And they're going to be even more convinced when we watch the left completely screw up the management of this country, which has already been a complete circus show in the first week. Already, the Republicans who voted against Trump are starting to seriously regret their decision. They're already sitting back thinking this was not the right thing for America. So all we really have to do over the next few years is watch the Democrats destroy themselves. Watch them basically send America right down the drain. I mean, why wouldn't they? After all, look at what the Democratic governors have done. New York, California, Michigan, they've all bankrupted their states. That's what Democratic governors do. They act impulsively with draconian measures without any real thought as to how it's going to affect the American people. So if that's what's happening on a state level, why wouldn't it happen on a national level? So all we really have to do is sit back, wait for them to eat their own, send America into a downworld spin to prove to the rhinos they made a horrible mistake. Then get ready for the 2022 primaries, win back the Senate, keep going strong, guns blazing, all the way back into the presidential election 2024, which, who knows, we may even see Donald Trump run again. But I think the only way this is possible is if enough of the rhinos, the other half, who didn't put their faith into Trump, if they see the left screw up, which I believe they will, and they also see Trump maybe change his tone just slightly, maybe tone down a little bit of the aggressive rhetoric to prove to them, you know what, I can do this while remaining politically correct to your standards. I don't think it'd be hard for him to win 2024. Let's see what the American people have to say about Trump coming back, guns blazing, and setting up his office of the former president and backing the Republican Party. So Trump creates office of the former president in Florida. He did this on Monday. He established an official post-presidency office. Well, the first gift that comes to mind, oh my God, I love it. This is exactly what's going on right now. You know, as this news broke, this is what I was thinking. I was just thinking the Janice, the liberal Janices of the world, which is her name, by the way, just completely having a meltdown, like a panic attack. I can see liberal anxiety going through the roof right now, knowing that it hasn't even been 1 week. I mean, we all know that Trump is like the biggest troll on the internet, but for him to then set up the office of the former president out of his official residence in Florida was like troll 1 billion of all time. And then to see how the liberals are now reacting on the internet is just hilarious to me. So this is exactly what's going on. There's an incredible amount of anxiety, frustration. They really thought Jack Dorsey from Twitter was going to silence the president of the United States. Have you guys all kind of forgotten the fact that before social media, there was this thing called the website, a website that I control, a website that Trump will control. His followers are just going to go onto his website to hear him talk. We don't care if Twitter shut him down anymore. We're way past that. Facebook, all of them, it doesn't even matter because we still have websites and nobody can shut a website down. After all, look at Antifa. They're still, well, they forward to the White House. If you guys didn't know this, here's a fun fact for you all. Search Antifa.com. It forwards to whitehouse.gov. It'll be a fun exercise for you to do if you don't already know that. So this is what's going on right now. There's complete frustration, anxiety from the left. Kathy says, all the power to you, Mr. President Trump. You had great policies for the American people. You spoke the truth, and the swamp had to silence you. They fear you that much. The left have no idea what a mess they have created, putting Joe in control. It's absolutely right. But listen, let's give them 4 years. Let's let them do their thing. They'll understand soon enough how bad of a mistake they all made. So bad that I even guarantee a handful of Democrats actually vote for a Republican candidate next term. Jenny says, love it. He'll need it for all his supporters and future supporters, because in a few months, when the Biden pain hits people, a few months, it's already hit. 70,000 jobs have been wiped off the face of this country already because of his executive orders. But fine, we'll allow it a few months. When the Biden pain hits people, he'll have more support, so they'll need a place to coordinate the future. Great call, President Trump. It was a great call. It was such a good call. It's so good to see them kind of get organized now. And don't think, okay, for those of you who are like, President Trump, no, impeachment this, impeachment that. Listen, the impeachment's not going to happen, okay? It was all a dog and pony show. Even Biden has admitted the impeachment thing's a joke. It's not going to happen. They're not going to be convicted. Here, I'll even show you guys. Let's take a look. Biden on Monday, this is straight from Fox right now. This isn't like some BS rumor. President Joe Biden on Monday dealt Senate Democrats a huge blow when he said in an interview that it seems they will be unable to convict former President Trump once again during an impeachment trial. Biden even knows. I mean, at least not all of these Democrats are insane. At least, you know, you'd think Joe would be going a little bit senile with this whole health thing going on. But this to me actually proves that he has a bit of a level head on him still. He knows there's no point in doing this whole thing. There's not enough Republicans who are going to actually vote to convict Trump of impeachment. They need this guy. There's no way the GOP is taking back control in 2022 without Trump on board. They know that. There needs to be a voice so big, there needs to be a movement so massive that without Trump, it's not going to work. Ted Cruz is good. He's not there yet. And as far as the other newcomers, they've got a long way to go. So the Republicans know this. They're not voting against him. Sure, a few will do just to say, hey, remember me when I voted to impeach Trump? Vote me for president right now. Those are the ones who are going to go after the rhinos and the Democrats to vote for them. It's a long shot, the likes of Mitt Romney. And you got the lady in Wisconsin or Wyoming, Cheney. But the majority of them are going to do the loyal thing, the right thing. Because after all, Trump didn't incite any violence. We all know that. We read his script. We looked at the words. I can kick that horse and beat it to death all I want. We've already discussed it on numerous shows. He didn't incite violence, and both parties know it. Joe Biden knows it. But they put on a little circus act for you, the American people, to say, hey, look, we're going to impeach him. He was wrong. We know they only broke a few windows, but it kind of looked like an insurrection. So let's just call it that and lead all the Democrats to believe we're actually going to do something about it. Yeah. Good idea. But don't really impeach him. Don't really vote against it, because we need Trump to help us back the 22 primary. And if shit totally hits the fan, we might need him to actually run again in 2024. And they all shook hands and they went home. That's how politics work. So Biden says Democrats don't have, now this is the best part about it, Biden admitted Democrats don't have the votes to impeach Trump. There you have it. Not going to have it. Mike says, and this is exactly what I think, Mike says, I thought this was for show. Oh, wait. They thought they were going to get 17 Republicans to vote yes. Ha, ha, ha. Absolutely. There's no way they were going to get all these people to vote yes against the impeachment. Are you guys out of your mind? The GOP still needs to win. They still need to fight back. We just lost everything. This is why we call it politics, because it's all just one big show to gain power. It's a strategy, and they're all in on it. Deborah says, people just need to move on. They got what they wanted. The guy's in office, and he is making enemies all over the world, so good luck. I mean, Biden's not only upsetting Americans right now, he's upsetting all these people who are flooding the border from Guatemala, Honduras, all the people that they think Joe promised safe passage as long as they get in. So down south right now, the big migrant caravans that are rushing the border, they actually think, Biden said, if you hurry up and sneak in now, I'm going to make you a citizen. That's the insanity of this whole thing. And even Biden's like, whoa, stop. That's not what I said. Go back. Oh, it's not what you said? now they're all of a sudden pissed off at Biden. Biden didn't ever say that, except that's what they were led to believe. That's what their families were led to believe, all for votes. So now, according to them, Biden's a liar. How funny inaccuracies and fallacies can turn against a party. We saw it a million times with Donald Trump. It's now Biden's turn. Crystal says because he knows, this is referring to Biden, because he knows he could possibly be impeached as well because of his and his son's dealing with China. That's a good comment, and I want to touch on that. Why are so many Democrats not going to vote to impeach Trump? Why are they going to just kind of throw this whole thing out the window? It's because Kamala Harris, Nancy Pelosi, Maxine Waters, and every other Democratic politician, AOC, they actually incited violence during the BL movements. Do you guys remember that? They actually bailed criminals out for burning cities down. They actually encouraged and cheered from the sidelines. Chris Cuomo on CNN said protests have to be peaceful. So all of the left-wing media, all of the left-wing politicians, they all actually incited violence. So I love when I see everybody get all angry online about how could you not want Trump impeached? You're an animal for supporting the fact that he promoted and endorsed an insurrection. And I said, hold on, everybody calm down a second. Because if you're going to throw Trump under the bus right now, then you need to also throw Kamala Harris, Maxine Waters, Nancy Pelosi, and every other Democrat who sat there and cheered on the Antifa and the BLM movement, which basically was the entire party, including Biden and himself. So the double standards again. And we all know that both parties here are to blame. So as we get closer to this impeachment trial, you're going to very quickly, those of you who actually want to see Trump impeached, are going to be gravely disappointed. And if you still believe that he deserves to be impeached, then you are just as hypocritical as the left. So, but this comment refers to obviously Joe Biden and his son. So what's happened now that the inauguration is over? Well, suddenly we're now back to Hunter's laptop. We're back to Hunter's business dealings. I mean, Joe Biden has already lied, straight up lied, that he had no idea what Hunter was up to overseas. How do you not know what your son's up to, especially if you're on the business trip with him? I believe they were both together in Ukraine. Daddy Joe, senator at the time, or vice president at the time, was going to go do some diplomatic business dealings, and Hunter had some business dealings of his own. You mean that entire flight over, you don't talk about what your son's up to? I mean, I don't know what kind of father-son relationship they have going on there, but I know everything that's up with my son. And I tend to think I will continue to because I love him so much and I want him to succeed, and I'll always want to know what my son's up to and his business dealings as he gets older. He's only 4 right now. But the point I'm trying to make is that who doesn't know what's going on with their children, especially someone as tight as Hunter and Joe Biden? So, Crystal's right. All of a sudden, Biden's freaking out. He's thinking, you know what? If I don't put the brakes on this thing and kind of tell my Democratic colleagues to tone this whole thing down, there's a very good chance that I'm next. Sharon says, that shows how dumb our government is. You cannot impeach a former president. What were they going to impeach him for? Was it because he was president that had millions and millions of true Americans that loved him and supported him and were willing to fight for the truth? It's true. What are you going to impeach him for? A few broken windows? An insurrection? Give me a break. It was a photo op at best. And don't even bring up the fact that some policemen were rioted against outside the Capitol, because that happened all summer long and it continues to happen. It continues to happen today, right now, as Biden sits in office. Antifa continues to burn, loot, and bring down cities. They continue to commit acts of violence all over the country. Finally, Biden condemns the violence. It only took him a year to condemn the violence, but he finally his press secretary condemned the violence on his behalf. He didn't even have the guts to come out and condemn it himself. Press secretary came on a couple days ago. Yeah, we condemn the violence. It's about freaking time that you condemn all this violence. He made Trump condemn, if you remember, during the debate, he made Trump condemn white supremacy on air during the first debate. And Trump did. Why we didn't attack back and ask Biden condemn the Antifa and the BLM violence is beyond me. Maybe we were trying to be the better man. I don't know. So there's tons of violence going on, and we're still trying to figure out what on earth we're going to even impeach Trump for. Because as far as I'm concerned, Capitol Police allowed them to come in when they realized this isn't going to be pretty unless we actually calm the situation down, which it did end up being calmed down very quickly. I was there. There was about 30 minutes of complete chaos, which turned to peace again after the extremists got it out of their system. Eileen says, for once, he is correct. This is referring to Biden telling his Democrat counterparts that there's not really a good chance of Trump actually being convicted. So Eileen says, for once, he is correct and actually speaks the truth. Shouldn't the COVID-19 vaccines and relief the first and foremost thing on the agenda? Oh, wait a minute. Trump already mapped out that plan months ago. True. Trump mapped out all the plans, everything. You know, if you haven't noticed, guys, the only thing Biden's really done is just undo what Trump's done. All these executive orders, all he's done is reversed every single America First executive order that Trump's put into place. So it's no surprise that after just 6 days of being out of office, Trump and his teams are like, screw this, we're going. I don't care what anybody has to say about anything. We're coming back onto the scene. We're going to fight back. I'm not going to sit here on the sidelines being such a massive voice that I am and going to watch Biden destroy this country in just 1 week. It's a great decision. He's come out swinging. What else is Trump been up to? Well, let's take a look here. You guys all remember good old Sarah Huckabee Sanders, former press secretary for Trump. Former President Donald Trump endorsed Sarah Huckabee Sanders in her run for Arkansas governor on Monday night, saying she will always fight for the people of the state and do what's right. Good for you, Sarah Sanders. You definitely got my support. Although I can't vote for you, you've got my support. We'll do everything we can from the sidelines. This is beautiful. Look at Trump. Already, so she announces yesterday that she's going to run for Arkansas state governor. Within hours, Trump comes on the scene and says she's got my full endorsement. So, if that isn't going to guarantee a win, I don't know what would. So Trump endorses Sarah for Arkansas governor. Music to our ears. We need Trump to get people like Sarah, to get Republicans who have the courage and the guts and the ambition to get in there and fight hard against the left. After all, look at AOC, Ilhan Omar. You've got some good heavyweights there, some young, and I have a lot of respect for AOC, even though I think sometimes she's kind of batshit crazy. I still do have a lot of respect for her courage and how she fights. She's a fighter. And now we've got the likes of Lauren Boebert in Colorado also fighting. We need more people like this. And I think we're going to see more of them step up now, knowing there aren't that many voices in charge. All we ever hear is Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer run their mouth all day long with no one really attacking back. We got now the Republican Party starting Freedom Force to go up against a squad. We need all the help we can get right now. We need all the man and woman power that we can have in the party. And seeing people like Sarah come onto the scene is music to my ears. And what's even better is that we now see Trump supporting and endorsing her. And I hope we can get the job done right here in New York State when it comes time to get Governor Cuomo and his corrupt cronies out of office. So whoever's going to be running against Cuomo, we need that same support for Trump. And why wouldn't he? New York's his baby. He loves New York. He hates Cuomo with a passion. So why wouldn't Trump come guns blazing out against Cuomo as well and support and back a Republican candidate? I think we're going to see it. Let's see what the American people have to say about Sarah Sanders running for Arkansas State Governor and Trump endorsing this phenomenal move. Jan says, so glad that Sarah is running for governor. I think she'll make a great one. Thank you, President Trump, for endorsing her. I think the leftists on here are worried about a Republican being a governor. The Democrats want to take over all the states. I hope Sarah fights for this and gets in. Listen, regardless of what side of the fence you sit on, we all have to agree. A one-party system is horrible for a country. That's what goes on in China. It's called communism. We don't want just one party calling the shots. I don't want the Republicans in full control as much as a Democrat should not want the Democrats in full control. It swings too far left or too far right. We don't have the checks and balances that this country was founded on. We need those balances. The debate's healthy. We need to be able to argue and negotiate and meet in the middle. That is how America prospers. But when you have these far left progressive totalitarian ideologies forced down our throats, it's only going to seriously frustrate and piss off half the country. That's not how you unify America. We're supposed to be working with each other. But somewhere along the way, our politicians forgot that America was supposed to be a compromise. Now it's just an all-out assault to take over for political and financial gain. So it's great that Sarah's running. We need more Republican governors to stand up to the Democratic Party right now and run and fight to keep this country unified. Deborah says Trump is loyal. He's a good man. He really is better than those in government who lie and talk out of both sides of their face, saying one thing and doing another, like the rhinos in the House and Senate. And of course, the newly elected president, who on the first day destroyed even those who endorsed him. She actually admitted to lie to reporters when questioned during the Mueller probe. I don't know much about that, but I do know that every politician has probably said something that they shouldn't have. I think it works in all kind of aspects. Sarah said a lot. She was a press secretary after all. And let's be honest, she was working for Trump at the time. She was supposed to go out there and stick to her agenda. And I'm not saying that Trump asked anybody to lie or that anybody lied here. All I'm saying is that when a lot of misinformation is being thrown around, it's very easy for somebody like a press secretary to get caught up in all the facts. So there was a lot of things thrown out there. Who knows if it was actually a lie? I'm not sure. But I don't think that we should judge any candidate based on something that maybe was considered misinformation. But as far as a lie, straight up lie, I find that hard to believe. Rita says, will probably be another corrupt, dishonest election, and our president did not lose the election. He was cheated through corrupt, evil Democrats. That is fact, Jack. The thing that really frustrates me right now is that so many people and most of the viewers who watch this show think there's no chance. And it's the saddest thing when I hear day in and day out Republicans are telling me, why vote again? What's the point? There's no point. It's all corrupt. Why do I have to get out there and vote against Governor Cuomo? It's all rigged. As long as the Dominion machines are running the show, we're going to lose. And it's a horrible mentality and mindset going into future elections because all we have is our vote. I don't know what really happened. We don't know how many votes were actually messed with during the presidential election. All we do know is that we can still get out there and try this again. Let's just try again. Let's stop talking about the rigged election and start talking about how we're going to prove that we can still win this thing. That's what we need to be doing. We need to get out there and vote, because when we sit here and sulk and moan about it, the Democrats have won. And that's exactly what they want right now. They want us down and out. They want us to give up on the electoral process altogether. If you do that, we are guaranteed to never win another race again. That is the last thing that we should be doing. So consider or factor in a margin of stolen votes for all I care. That means maybe we even need to turn out even more in order to squash this. But voting is the only thing we have in this country to cause serious change. So to sit back and say, what's the point? What does it matter? You're bringing down the only process that we have faith in right now, or what little faith that we have in right now. There's no point in completely destroying that faith. Let's see what the other American people have to say about Susan Huckabee, or Sarah, sorry, running for governor of Arkansas. Old Joe already killing thousands of jobs, says Larissa. Hiking taxes, gas prices up, everything else follow. Boys allowed in the girls' bathroom, babies aborted, and y'all Democrats just voted for that because you hate Trump. Truth is, he is the best president we ever had for a great economy. It's sad and ignorant for y'all with TDS. Sarah will make an excellent governor. No need to argue my point. Y'all cry with fall, or your all cries will fall on deaf ears. You will see. It's exactly what's going to happen. I think it's phenomenal. I think it's great that it's only been 6 days. I think it's great that Republicans have a little bit of hope again. They have a little bit of faith that all's not lost, that somebody like Trump is going to come out, guns blazing, fighting for the Republican Party. Remember, the GOP needs a voice. It needs a voice. And it needs a voice with somebody who has so much influence. Like Trump, strategically, it's a phenomenal move. Love him or hate him, doesn't matter. Any political commentator is going to tell you it's a phenomenal move. This is also Trump saying this impeachment thing is a hoax. Look how quickly he dismissed. He is so confident that this impeachment trial is such a joke that it's not going to go anywhere, that he's already setting up to either be a major voice in Republican politics or he's ready to run again in 2024. That to me does not sound like somebody who's actually nervous about being convicted of of an insurrection. That is someone to me who says, this is how little I care about this joke of an impeachment. Watch this. Boom, I'm back on the scene. So Americans are furious right now with the GOP. There's only a handful of people fighting to restore faith in the GOP. Trump comes online yesterday, announces that he's back in the game from the sidelines. A lot agree. It might even be more powerful from the sidelines. The media and the libs thought the left were just going to walk all over the Constitution with no consequences. Nope. Not going to happen. We're going to put our foot down. We're going to fight back. Trump's back on the show. Is he going to run 2024? Maybe. Let's see what happens over the next 4 years. Let's see how he does with the primaries. If he can get the GOP back on track, start taking control of the Senate, I think there's a very good chance he'll do it, and I think he'll win. Thank you guys so much for joining me today. It's been an awesome show. Thank you so much for your support, and don't forget to check back in. We usually go live at 3 o'clock. Today we bumped it up to noon, lunchtime special with all the action that has happened over the last 24 hours. I couldn't even wait till 3 o'clock. Tomorrow, we'll see you guys live at 3. Thanks so much. Have a great rest of the day.
Thanks for listening to You Made It Political with Matt Clark. Be sure to like, follow, or subscribe to the show, or leave us a review on iTunes. And if you like our show or want to know more, check out YouMadeItPolitical.com.